What if the life you built can no longer hold the person you are becoming? What if the pressure you've been feeling is not punishment or a bad thing, but clarity? What if the exhaustion, the tension, the conversations, the sudden shifts, and the deep knowing that this old way is not working anymore are all part of the moon showing you what needs to be restructured? Beautiful people, this full moon in Capricorn, also known as the strawberry moon, is not coming quietly. It's coming with a checklist, a flashlight, and a mirror. It is asking us to look at what we have built, what is stable, what is cracking, what needs better support, and what we can no longer carry the old way. Welcome to the Lunar Lounge, where astrology meets alchemy. I'm Bashia Imana, your life coach and wellness practitioner, and the owner of the Umoya Well. And I am joined by my brilliant co-host, Diana Vanessa of Diana Vanessa Astrology. Diana brings depth, precision, wisdom, and such powerful insight into what's happening in the stars and how it speaks to our real lives. Peace, Diana.
Hi, Bashia. Hi, friends. I hope you are having a peaceful and supportive Capricorn full moon.
Tonight, we are talking about the Cancer-Capricorn axis. Cancer asks, what needs care, protection, nourishment, and emotional honesty? And Capricorn asks, what needs structure, maturity, discipline, and responsibility? So this full moon is not just about release. It is about restructuring. It is about building a life that can actually hold what we love. And Diana is going to help us unpack not only this full moon in Capricorn, but also Mercury retrograde in Cancer, Mars and Uranus stirring things up in Gemini, Jupiter moving into Leo, Saturn into Aries, and the list goes on and on and on. So, take a breath. Get grounded. Grab your journal, get your tea, your water, your crystals, whatever helps you listen deeply. Because tonight we're asking, what am I building? What needs better support? And what is my life asking me to stop carrying? You're at the Lunar Lounge. Let's begin.
Welcome to the Lunar Lounge, where the night slows down for you. Celestial rhythms moving, every breath aligns the truth. Astrology meets alchemy, stars whisper what to do. Come sit beneath the moonlight, let the magic carry you. Aligning with the stars, aligning with the stars.
Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to the Lunar Lounge, where astrology meets alchemy. And this is what we have all been waiting for. If things have not been changing in your life, if you don't see the shifts happening, then you must be on another planet, because here some things are being stirred up. And we have none other than the brilliant, the beautiful Diana Vanessa here to tell us what is happening in the stars for this full moon. So Diana, please take it away.
Thank you, Bashia. So tonight we have the full moon in Capricorn. The full moon, it came in big and bright at 7:55 p.m. tonight. There is a lot happening this month astrologically. Last week and this week, we have several transits that we're going to talk about in addition to the full moon, because that will help to provide additional context about what we're moving through, especially from now until the new moon in Cancer that's coming up on July 14th. We're going to talk about the Mercury retrograde in Cancer, Jupiter moving into Leo, Mars having moved into and taken residence in Gemini, and how that's already stirring up some of the chaos gremlins, especially for people who have Gemini placements. Okay.
Chaos gremlins.
Mars applying to Uranus in Gemini, which is amplifying the chaos energy a little bit. And then both Mars and Uranus squaring the nodes of the moon in Pisces and Virgo. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk a little bit about this preview of Chiron in Taurus that we're getting from now until September. As I'm pulling the chart up on the screen, I want to remind listeners that our mileage varies with transits. Everyone's chart is not the same. Some people may experience certain transits a little bit more acutely than others. So as we're walking through this transit report, I want to encourage listeners to think about what transits are actually showing up for you. And the way you see it is by paying attention to things as they're coming through and showing up in your life. Right. We have a full moon in Capricorn, which means that we have the sun here. This is the sun at 8 degrees of the zodiac sign of Cancer. We are in Cancer solstice season. Yes. This is really important because Cancer is one of the cardinal or turning point signs of the zodiac. Cardinal seasons are associated with transformation and change. One way to look at this is that the sun in Cancer is showing us what we've been trying to create in the Cancer area of our life. In Cancer, we've been trying to create sense of belonging. We've been trying to get our emotional and our safety needs met. Right. We've been trying to connect to our ancestors. We've been connecting to our home or our homeland in different ways. And generally, wherever we have Cancer is where we have been trying to give birth to something. So check the area of your chart where you have Cancer to understand what you've been trying to give birth to. We have the moon at 8 degrees of Capricorn. And the moon in Capricorn is showing us the environment. The moon in Capricorn is showing us what we've created and whether it's sturdy, whether it's supported, whether it's got the right foundation in place. But if that's not the case, the moon is showing us where we need to shore up our foundation, where the environment needs more stability, where the environment needs more discipline to follow through on things that I've been trying to create in the Cancer area of my chart. Okay. Yeah. Think about what have you been trying to create in the Cancer zone of your chart, or what is, remember the Cancer could be someone else in your life. So wherever Cancer falls in your chart is going to tell us who and what is doing the creating. Right. And what you're creating or giving birth to. And the Capricorn zone of the chart is going to show us the condition. In my newsletter, I described it as akin to the home contractor coming in and going through a checklist and saying, this is done, this is correct, this is not correct, this needs more work. I like that analogy. I was thinking about with like this Cancer Capricorn axis is the Cancer is asking us what needs care, what needs protection, what needs nourishment, what needs emotional honesty. And then the Capricorn is saying what needs structure, maturity, discipline, and responsibility. 100%. Yeah. And this is along the lines of more stereotypical gender roles. Right. The way it's been coming up for me is that the Cancer and the Capricorn are showing me that I can be a good mom and a good dad to myself. Yes. That you can, nurture yourself. And do the providing. Yes. I'm a Gemini rising. Cancer is in the second house of my chart.
Mm-hmm.
I have Cancer here, and I have Capricorn here. And what I've been trying to grow in Cancer is my money.
Mm-hmm.
And the eighth house, which is the house of shared resources, is showing me where I have support and
Mm-hmm.
where I don't have support,
Right.
and where the lack of support has been kicking my proverbial ass. Okay. And what makes this even
Woo.
more,
I
and
can relate.
let me just say this, and I've talked to friends and clients where this is showing up as like amazing progress reports and lots of accomplishment and achievement and people seeing the fruit of their labor. Okay.
Okay.
Some of it is wonderful, and some of it is this is a reality check moment.
Yes.
Uh, the reality check is coming in hot and heavy with our friend here, Saturn, who is at 14 degrees of the zodiac sign of Aries. The moon is applying a square to Saturn in Aries, and the sun is applying a square to
Mm.
Saturn in Aries. This is what we call a T square formation in the chart. T squares create a lot of tension, okay? And Saturn is not playing games in Aries. Saturn
Mm-hmm.
in Aries has been trying to compel us to do the new thing, to initiate, to
Mm-hmm.
be independent over these next several years as Neptune and Saturn move together in Aries. Saturn is bringing the pressure. I'm noticing that if the plan wasn't strong, if the strategy is not sound, the initiative or the endeavor doesn't move forward.
Right.
And that's the way Saturn can work. And
Mm-hmm.
that we'll see the failure before we see the success until we do the thing the right way.
There can't be any cracks in the foundation.
Well, let me think about that because I don't think Aries says we have to do it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of a Virgo thing.
But it's not even about being perfect. It
Mhm.
is being building on solid ground, right? It's just
Yes.
making sure that it is solid and to remove the things that are cracked or damaged and are falling. I mean, actually being able to see them, being able to have an awareness of what needs to shift.
Yes.
And to me, it's about building a life, being able to build a life that can hold what you love, right? That's where the energy has been for me because when you talked about some of the challenges with the squares, like, oh my goodness, I've been seeing them over the past couple of weeks. I mean, and it has been full blown. And it's interesting because I'm at a point where I'm very, very clear about what I want for my life, what I have the capacity to hold.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the things that I'm building. But some of the things that are in the way are making itself very, very known.
Yes.
It's actually not a bad thing because there's a clarity in awareness, right? And
Mhm.
with that clarity and awareness, um, I know what needs to be released. I know what needs to be modified. I know how I have to grow and shift. Um, it causes me to honor my capacity to protect my home space, all of the things. I think it's a beautiful thing with this Capricorn and Cancer because I have the opportunity to build a life that can hold what I love. I hope that all of our listeners are able to do that as well, are really stepping into that.
Yes. And thank you for that framing because there's been a lot of frustration for me. Many of these developments that are happening with the full moon are things that we haven't already been trying to work with,
Right, right.
right? As for me, it's been constraints, it's been lack of support in the ways that I really need it. I'm encouraged by this period because I know this is a time that I can work with it.
Right.
It's like this reminder, how long, why do I have to do this Capricorn struggle? I've done so
Capricorn
much.
struggle.
I feel like I've done so much work Every time you and I sit here and talk about a Capricorn lunation, I'm over here telling you about how I've had to lay down burdens and I've shifted responsibilities.
Yes.
I've taken a lot of things off of my plate. Yet last week, I was like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed again. Thank you for that because it does remind me that even though there's been a lot of frustration, this is the period where we can actually work with that to deal with that tension between where I need to continue to focus on caring for myself as a priority
Mhm.
versus managing all these responsibilities that I've been trying to outsource.
Maybe you can show us in the chart that
Mhm.
it's not just happening for those of us who are Capricorns. Diana and I happen to be Capricorns,
Yeah.
but I work with a lot of women, and so many women are just saying the same things, like they're just overwhelmed. They're exhausted. It is too much. I am carrying too many responsibilities. Not all of them are mine to carry, and things are out of balance.
Yeah. Remember what I said earlier about the moon in Capricorn is showing us the environment?
Yes, yes.
This is where the burden is showing up. The pressure, the burdens, the responsibilities are showing up in this provider area of the chart. I often associate Capricorn with Black women because Capricorn
Yeah.
is a feminine sign that's ruled by Saturn.
Mhm.
Saturn has specific associations with people of color.
Mhm.
I've been seeing more reports, for example, about all the Black women who've been laid off from their government jobs in the DC metro area and how they are still trying to figure out how to make their lives work, given all the degrees that we
Right.
have,
With all the
all the
degrees, the most
qualifications,
educated group of people in
most
the country. Right.
Saturn and Neptune here, this is like breaking the illusion or the fantasy that we could keep doing things the old way.
Right.
I really feel that this is pressure to let those burdens go. This is a new cycle. We
Mm,
cannot do it the old school Capricorn way
no,
we were doing.
it's completely out of balance, and it will affect all aspects of our lives, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. It's out of
Yeah,
balance.
and that's the thing. Because what I've noticed is the pressure has not gone away. It seems like it's intensified.
Yes. Yes.
The things that are obsolete, that are old, that need to go.
This way is not working, and something else is going to have to come in its place because this is not going to work. I mean, I was just saying to somebody yesterday, I don't have the capacity to hold all of this, and I'm not.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Exactly. We can pivot now to the Mercury retrograde. A couple of hours before the full moon, we had Mercury here. Mercury is still in the sign of Cancer. Do you see this little S here? It's an indication that Mercury has stationed. It's basically stopped. Things that happen today, jot them down because they're important as part of this ongoing Mercury in Cancer story. This is
Hmm.
our opportunity to revise, to revisit, and to
Mhm.
reorient ourselves. I'm going to be using this Mercury retrograde time to go back and look at some of the things that I was planning when
Mhm.
we were in Capricorn season and to take a look at those goals and see which ones need a little bit of refining or reorientation so that I
Mhm.
continue to focus on making my Cancerian dreams come true here. Mercury rules the mind, communications, messages, movement, transportation. The internet is associated with Mercury. Mercury in Cancer is considered a mute Mercury. It's a water sign Mercury that operates on feelings.
Can you share again what a mute Mercury is?
So the OG astrologers refer to Mercury in a water sign as mute,
Mhm.
meaning that Mercury, when it's in the signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, they aren't the yappers, for example, that the air sign Mercuries and the fire sign Mercuries, and maybe even the earth sign Mercuries can be. They tend to be quieter, they are intuitive. Mercury in the water signs doesn't need to talk, it doesn't need to verbalize because Mercury is very sensitive and intuitive in water signs. People who have Mercury in Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, I don't think they're the only ones with psychic gifts, but I think that their ability to read the symbols, read the images, read the non-linear messages and communications is very strong.
Mm-hmm.
The retrograde period is from now, it's going to be active through August 6th. Mercury stations to turn direct, I believe it's like around July 23rd, but it isn't going to clear its retrograde path until August 6th. So this is the time to review the plans, conversations, and messages around home, family, care, belonging, support. We're moving on our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I want us to give ourselves grace during this time, allow ourselves to slow down, which means certain things that we may have been planning may not realize themselves yet.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to revisit. Remember last time I was using the hypothetical scenario of publishing a book, and this being the period of time when the publisher comes back and says, read your first draft, you got some work to do.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So it's like that. It's like, take this opportunity and use this time. If something does not come to fruition, do not despair. Use these next 5 to 6 weeks to reorient. So for women who are dealing with that right now, now's the time to feel for where we are really going to let go of
Mm-hmm.
things that have become burdens that are no longer aligned with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A couple of other things that are happening. We've got a few planets doing the most right now in Mercury's domicile of Gemini. Mars here and Uranus, both in Gemini. Mars in a chart is going to show us the action, the drive, the motivation, the desire, and the will. Mars recently moved into Gemini, and Mars in Gemini is somebody who can show up as sharp, persuasive, mentally quick, but the shadow of that could be that they can also be scattered, not focused, overstimulated, and prone to turning communication into a battlefield. These are the debaters. Watch out for communications being really like touchy this week. When Mercury's in Cancer, we can be a little bit more moody. Okay. We're at the whim of wherever the moon is that day. And with Mars in Gemini being supported by a Cancerian Mercury, I would be watching out for people short fused and irritability and lots of debates.
I wish you had told me this yesterday.
Well, Mars moved into Gemini on Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's at 0 degrees of Gemini here. And Mars is applying a conjunction to Uranus, which means it's getting closer to Uranus. Practical guidance around this is we're always practicing and preaching grounding ourselves. Important because Gemini is connected to the nervous system. We have to be diligent about staying away from our screens. Diligent about trying to get sleep, good quality sleep when we can. I've talked to some friends who've been struggling with the Uranus and Gemini to get sleep. With Mars here, that's not going to make it any better if you're already struggling to get sleep. And just know that not every irritation needs to have an immediate response. Okay?
That's a good point to make.
And the Gemini seem to be the ones who are most activated right now by what's happening with Mars and with Uranus. Here's Uranus at 3 degrees of Gemini. Uranus rules disruption, liberation, the unexpected. Together, both of these planets are volatile and fast moving. What makes this even juicier is that this is going to be peaking on July 4th, this weekend. Remember, I referred to this as like chaos energy. This is like fireworks, mishaps, accidents. Just take extra time to prepare and plan, especially comes to things that you're going to be doing over the weekend. Be flexible, confirm your plans, and just be aware that there can be sudden shifts in communication and travel and people's moods. What I love about this build-up here is that the expression of Uranus and Mars together can be a clarifying conversation or some kind of breakthrough. This could be like figuring out a difficult situation literally with your hands. Existential pressure that I have been feeling has been connected to this Mars and Uranus, especially this Uranus here in Gemini, because both planets are applying pressure. Mars comes in and says it's time to move. Uranus has already been trying to disrupt these nodes here. Okay, we've got the North Node in Pisces. And remember, the nodes are calculated points connected to the moon's path around the ecliptic. And the nodes, when pressure is being applied, so like fated and destined things are coming through that are outside of our control. People who have placements in the early degrees of the mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, placements between like 0 and 6 degrees of the mutable signs are probably feeling the tension and the pressure to make a move, Mars, now more than ever. And the move is going to be typically oriented towards something more Piscean, spiritual, could be moving towards escape or running away. I've talked about feeling like I just want to run away all the time. I've got the Pisces North Node in my 10th house, my career house. And then the South Node in Virgo, which has been helping us release a lot of the mastery we have in the Virgo area of our charts, but also some say you're burning off karma where you have the South Node. The pivotal turning point catalyst. Everyone who has mutable placements is going to be experiencing this in some form or another. But people who have these placements in the early degrees of the mutable signs between 0 to 6 degrees, I think are going to be seeing it and feeling it a lot more palpably. Another big thing happening this week is that Jupiter has been hanging out at the final degrees of Cancer. Tomorrow, Jupiter is going to move into Leo for the next 12 months because Jupiter transits each zodiac sign for 12 months at a time. For the last 12 months, we've been enjoying some form of protection in the Cancer house. We've also been enjoying an amplification or an expansion of the things that Cancer rules. Jupiter has been expanding not just families and ancestry, it's been expanding the love of comfort foods as well as,
I'm with you. I have expanded as well.
We're going to talk more about this Jupiter in Leo transit, but I wanted to bring it up now because Leo is connected to the heart, courage, visibility, creativity, children, play. Leo is ruled by the sun. Wherever we have Leo and the sun in our charts is where we're going to see maybe a growth in our self-expression. So I'm looking forward to seeing people shine authentically. There is also a lot happening with the other outer planets, where Jupiter, once it moves into Leo, it's going to be having very interesting, challenging conversations, but also empowering conversations with Pluto in Aquarius. It's going to be talking to Neptune. It's going to be talking to Saturn. It's going to be talking to Uranus. And for a long period of time during this Leo transit, it's going to have Mars at its side. I can't wait till we have more Leo activations because I really felt that the Leos are the ones who are going to show us what courage looks like, what real authentic expression looks like in the age of AI.
Right.
We're in that era right now. We'll talk more about it, but I am especially curious about looking at the interactions with Jupiter and these outer planets because this also heralds a lot of change. We've been in this earth and water era for quite some time, and now we are really moving into this air and fire or yang energies. They tend to be less reserved, more outspoken, more consuming. Fire consumes.
Right.
When you combine that with air, it catches fire.
My moon is in Leo, and I know that Leo is in my 11th house, so it's really interesting.
Beautiful placement. What we also will talk about on one of our upcoming recordings is that the South Node is also going to be traveling with Leo.
Okay.
Which means that there is going to be some drain of vitality or some draining of old Leo karma. Okay.
Yes.
There's also going to be a draining of Leos associated with leaders, monarchs, royalty. I have been very curious about what this says about the state of leadership. Transitions will be seen with some leaders, especially the leaders who have not been operating from the heart space. Now, last but not least, is we've got Chiron here. This is Chiron.
Yes.
Looks like a key. Chiron has just moved into the sign of Taurus for a preview of Chiron and Taurus streams. It moved into Taurus on June 19th, and it's going to be in Taurus until September 17th. Then it's going to retrograde back into Aries. We're getting a preview of a longer 8-year transit, which is going to begin more fully next year. Chiron is a small celestial body that orbits between Saturn and Uranus. And in astrology, we refer to it as the wounded healer. Symbolically, wherever we have Chiron marks where we have had to deal with some deep wounds. The beautiful thing about it is that these wounds offer us over time the opportunity to become our greatest gift to other people to help them move through their wounds. So another way of saying it is Chiron is the key to how we alchemize pain into purpose. We're all going to be experiencing this transit. People who were born between May of 1976 and April 1984, they're going to be having their Chiron return during this 8-year transit. So they're going to be feeling this the most. Taurus themes include self-worth, financial security, material stability, embodiment and self-possession, food, and resources. So this transit has the potential to bring up some really tender issues around money, values, our sense of security, the feeling of even being supported by life itself. It can show up as a feeling of lack, deep lack. Even for those who are not lacking in any sense of the word. Taurus is a fixed sign, and this is not one of those things that you can alchemize overnight. This is something I've been working with my entire life. It's something I've been working with more intentionally since I learned about Chiron and what it means in my chart. I have it in a very difficult place. It's in the 12th house. And so I have had to deal with self-worth wounds and money wounds that are subconscious in nature. The way I work with it is to choose something to do every day that is consistent. And that includes, I have restarted practicing breath work.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, to help stabilize my nervous system, especially when I start worrying about things like my net worth. I found myself going back to my old habits of working, and I'm reminding myself to go back into spending a lot of time outdoors in nature, eating real food.
Real food. That's a whole word there.
Real food.
Right.
Not this fake ho-hos and Twinkies. I think it was Uranus and Taurus is when they started making all these crazy packaged foods. But Chiron and Taurus, we're going to be seeing things come up related to food supply, animals, how we treat what we consume. And so one of the things I've been putting in practice now is just reminding myself how nourished I am when I'm eating things that are more whole, that are more nutritious, that have more value as far as its ability to nourish my body. And I've also started doing mirror work again. My bestie gave me some affirmations to say to myself in the mirror every day. And I was doing it religiously during Taurus season. And I think when Gemini season hit, I was like, oh, I've graduated. I'm good. And then sure enough, Chiron moves into Taurus. And I'm like, let me go get my mirror work again. And so I've restarted that as well because Taurus really values, I think Taurus expression really resounds with things that are simple, that are steady, consistent, and that are tangible. And I'm going to be sharing a lot more about working with Chiron and Taurus because I think it's going to help people.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So bringing us back to the central thread, I think this full moon is showing us clearly what's working and what's not working.
Right.
Showing us where we need more support from our own individual mom and dads with us. Okay.
How to mother and how to father yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The full moon in Capricorn is showing us where something we care about needs better support.
Yeah.
The Mercury retrograde in Cancer is asking us to listen to our feelings and feel for what actually matters and what we value so that we can determine what needs to go by the wayside and what needs to continue forward. Saturn in Aries is really applying the pressure and showing us where we need to be applying more maturity, courage, and structure. Mars and Uranus, especially this week, are bringing the heat through communication, information, and sudden changes. So we really need to stay grounded and clear and seek clarity before reacting to people because, again, the triggers are very, very short.
Right.
Jupiter in Leo is now opening this new year of heart, visibility, and creative expression, while Chiron in Taurus is reminding us that the body, the earth, and simple resources are part of the healing and what we need to really see that we are well supported.
I love it. Diana, thank you so much. I mean, you bring us such a wealth of information. I was taking a lot of notes. And as you were talking, I'm up here looking at my chart on one side. And I hope that some of our listeners are doing the same. If folks want to get a reading with you or to get more information on what you do, can you just go ahead and shout that out right now?
Absolutely. Thank you first and foremost for subscribing to my YouTube channel at dianavanessa.astrology. If you want to reach out to me for if you're a new client, a 15-minute discovery call, or an existing client, a reading, please go to my website at dianavanessa.com where you can book your reading directly there.
All right, I love it. And then if you'd like to get in touch with me, I am a life coach. I also am a Ayurvedic practitioner and yoga instructor. I do a host of other things like women's circles. You can reach me on Facebook and Instagram at The Umoya Well. Umoya spelled Umoya. You can reach out to me directly by email at iam@theumoyawell.com.
Excellent. All right, we'll see you again for the new moon in Cancer on the 14th.
All right.